Welcome to Toffee TV. It is live at 5. I'm joined by Cam from the Mighty Blues. It's been an interesting last hour, hasn't it?
Yeah, another episode of the sitcom.
Another episode.
Good one, this episode.
Another episode of Everton.
Yeah, good episode. This one.
Series 143 is not going the way I thought it was going to go.
No.
Honestly, it's.
But we're still gripped.
We are still gripped.
This far in, and
we are still gripped. But I've heard this talk of the show being cancelled at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But it's up to the fans to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Patrons, if you want to join in the phone in, if you want to give us a call, and we'll do a bit of a phone in, get involved. It's all there on Patreon.
Have your say.
The number, well, it's not a number. You know, it's not a number. The link is there to get in touch with us. We'll have you on. So, if any of you fancy it, Ned is standing by to take your call.
He is.
I've always wanted to say something like that.
Yeah.
Ned is standing by to take your call. Like,
it's no charge as well.
Like QVC, innit?
We are like
Ned
QVC.
is standing
Can we
by
sell
to take.
something?
No, Ned.
Oh, please.
Yeah, it's free. You know, it's free. It'll cost you absolutely nothing. All we ask for is you put some headphones in so we can hear you. You don't need a camera because we're not going to put you on screen because we're trying to make it quick and snappy.
You do need a voice.
But you do.
You do
need a voice. Like that song from the 80s. You're the voice that understanding. Hot Rod. You haven't seen Hot Rod either, have you?
No.
Now have you seen Hot Rod?
I know the song, no.
What? No. Yeah.
No, it's all right. Yeah. There you go.
So please get in touch. But so Victor Pereira went on Sky Sports News about an hour ago.
I'm royally embarrassed himself.
Well, I didn't want to say that,
no,
but it did sound like the last
hurrah
days of a desperate man. Yeah. It did feel a little bit desperate.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sounded like someone had put him up to it.
Yeah. It's definitely sounded like someone had put him up to it, to be fair.
But what I would say is, that man loved Phil Jagielka, Leighton Baines and Tim Howard.
Loved him that much that he actually said the same sentence, word for word, twice, about 15 minutes apart. Yeah. Literally in the same tone, almost as if it had been written on a piece of paper, or he just pre-recorded it and pressed a button again.
I believe Frank Lampard's going to be on Loose Women tomorrow.
Apparently
he's going to be on Loose Women tomorrow, talking about his interview. He's going to be on there.
Martin O'Neill's on QI.
It's exclusive. It's an exclusive tomorrow. Wayne Rooney's going to be on CBBS.
Lampard's on the One Show with Christine.
What?
Come on, Lampard.
She's on Loose Women now.
Is she? Is she on the One Show, isn't she?
Keep up with the One Show.
She's on the One Show, isn't she?
No, she's not on the One Show.
Who's on the One Show now?
The Welsh.
Is it Alex Scott?
Alex Jones and Alex
Alex
Scott.
Jones and Alex Scott. Yeah, he's on the One Show
tonight. Sometimes Jermaine James.
One! How many points have Everton got in the last 3 months? One!
How many points have Everton got since... Yeah.
Another episode.
Incredible. Great episode of Everton. Doing well. So please, if you want to give us a call, because last week when we did our phone in on Patreon, it was amazing. It was booming. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. Yeah. So we basically spoke about having the job, wanting the job. He was asked a very, very cringy question about the graffiti at Goodison Park, which made me sit there going, and he was just like, I've never had this before in my life. I was like, welcome to Everton!
No, he sounded like Jose Mourinho, some of the things he was saying. Look at the titles that I've won and stuff. I just thought, am I listening to
It's what you
Jose
generally
Mourinho
get from the Portuguese, is people who sound like Jose Mourinho.
No, I don't mean in a literal sense. I mean in a very much of what he was saying. It sounded like I wanted to turn my phone off and never have to think about Everton ever again. I'm getting sick of this season.
He basically said he wants the job.
Yeah.
He knows what is required. Or he said he's seen Goodison Park in its heyday, 2009. Good times. He basically said that, yeah, fans are great, the atmosphere can be amazing, and he wants to get Everton back to that. He said he wants to get back to the legends of the club. Phil Jagielka, Leighton Baines and Tim Howard.
He had 2 opportunities to say any team in the 80s.
Tim Howard.
Phil Jagielka. Seamus Coleman as well.
Is it Jagielka or is it Jagielka?
It's never Segundo Castillo that gets mentioned, is it? Or Dennis Strachwell? Or those calves.
Those
calves were booming Everton.
That's Ned. The calves are Ned.
I just can't believe it.
No, it was incredible, and it felt really, really desperate, and it felt really unprofessional.
It felt desperate for something, but I don't quite know what. Either desperate to sort of win over the Evertonians in a sort of weird way, because I think had he have thought about doing this 2 hours ago, he'd have thought maybe that won't work. But it also, you can sort of see why it would feel desperate in him not being given the job and thinking, well, I'm going to put my name out there, so other teams maybe are looking around at it.
I think he was just basically confirming he was still here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a Delphi hotel. Service not
good. I don't know what's going on.
He's
in London, isn't he?
It sounds like Kia Jorab-chan.
Yeah.
Jorab-chan.
Kia Sportage.
Kia Jorab-chan has put him into it, put him up to it, basically. And I think it was like, it sounded like he was just trying to sell himself to the Everton fans. Like he'd seen the poll on Toffee TV and was like, shit. Seen the poll, 95% for Lampard.
When does that ever happen, though?
You know, and he's gone. Someone's seen which way the wind's blowing. Yeah. And they are... To me, it stinks of desperation.
Yeah, it is.
From the owner and from Shoharaman. It just screams of desperation. Of we've got to sell this to the fans.
Yeah.
And
so, do you think the decision's already been made?
No, I don't think it has.
Because I think if he becomes the manager, he doesn't need to do an interview, does he? He's just going to repeat the same.
Well, he's done an interview. He said he's done an interview. He said he spoke to him. Said he spoke to the owner. But
no, but I mean, as in like when they sit down in front of camera and do the first club interview.
They're going to have to fit him up for a Gillette.
Got a boss beard, to be fair.
Yeah,
boss beard.
You say that as a young man who hasn't
learned
the art of growing a beard.
I haven't learned the
art. It smacked of desperation, like he'd been put up to it clearly.
Yeah.
Go on Sky, get yourself sold. They'll love it.
Yeah.
You know, middle of the day, there's not loads going on. Well, it's not even an international break. It's an international break for the South Americans and the CONCACAF teams. There's nothing going on. They will love this. Let's get that story back out there. 2 hours ago, there was a story that Pereira was maybe pulling away back, because he heard what the fans had said. And it sounded like someone had got in touch with Sky saying, do you want an interview with this guy about the situation? And Everton fans will love it, because that's what we love.
Yeah.
As fans, we love nothing more than people going on telly or the radio and talking about our football club.
Yeah.
That's what we
love for. We
love that kind of thing.
Do.
We absolutely love it. Quality. So fair play to him. He's basically just...
Machini's gone, I won't go on TalkSport anymore and talk about Everton. Yeah. But I'll just make other people go on.
A bit weird when he called him Jim.
It's the dog.
But it was a bit weird when he called him Jim. Hello, Jim. Just mad.
We've got a visitor.
We're just mad. Bye. Can't bring the dog in anymore.
Why?
Because we used to be on the couch, but now we're sitting over here.
Can you not come in and...
No. See you later, mate. That's the only bright spot of our day, having a dog in the studio.
There's a dog in the studio.
It's literally the only thing.
I've heard it's going on Wheeler Dealers. It's going on 7 o'clock to talk about the Everton job.
It's going on 10 cats. Countdown. To talk about the dog. Talk about himself. Hello. My name is dog.
Has this ever happened before?
Never have we had any calls yet?
A managerial candidate.
Who is it?
I'm not sure, just asking.
Okay, you ask him.
A managerial candidate.
Test the system. Test the system.
National television and plead for the job.
No.
This is only Everton, isn't it?
It is only Everton.
Do you think the club would be... Let's just say...
Marcus Cooper says, is this real life? As in, like, remember that lad when he got his tooth out? Remember the
video? The wisdom tooth.
Is this real? That's what it feels like at the moment. That's what it feels like.
We're definitely living in a Truman show, 100%.
Yeah.
You might be an actor. Having me on. Ned's definitely not an actor. He's just part of the... Maybe
you're an actor.
Maybe I'm an actor. No, a few actors in and around Everton.
Ned is definitely not an actor.
No.
Even if it was someone else, even if it was somebody else's Truman show, Ned wouldn't be in on it.
He'd just be accidentally there. I didn't know it was like this either. What a world, man.
Alec Taylor says, Ped, I mean, this is just out of left field. Ped, have you been to San Francisco, going there this weekend, and wondered if you have any recommendations? I would ask Ned, but I know enough from Chester Zoo. That's as far as Ned's
I've
been
to San Francisco.
But do you know the way?
No.
I mean, it's not even relevant.
It's very hilly.
It is very hilly, isn't it? Just get Ubers everywhere.
Yeah, don't walk.
Go down the wharf. Go down the pier.
Yeah, with all the
go down the wharf and you'll see all the seals, and you'll see that's where a lot of it goes on.
Go to Alcatraz.
Yeah, you'd probably have to book it though.
Yeah, you'll have to
book it now. Alcatraz's boss. Go across the Golden Gate. Or, and actually there's another thing that people don't know about that I know about. Right. Oh, okay. Is that there's Lucasfilm in San Francisco.
Oh,
and it's on this like basically like Knowsley it's on the Kirby retail park sort of thing. And I found it. I walked for ages to find it, and there's a Yoda statue.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
And if you look through the window, you can see all embossed Star Wars stuff, but you can't go in because it's not like a. It's like it's a place people are working.
Yeah.
But there's a Yoda statue, and I got a place with it. Yeah. So are we getting Baz on?
Baz Cass.
Not Baz Cass. So why have you wrote not Baz Cass?
Just in case you thought it was.
So why didn't you just write Barry?
Because his name's Baz.
But it's Barry, isn't it? So is Barry on the line now?
Getting him on right now.
It's like amateur hour, isn't it? Alec, if you're going to San Francisco, go down the front, down the pier and everything. Boss down there. Try and book Alcatraz if you can.
It's amazing.
Gareth Hughes says, Ped and Ned's long chat last night about billionaires giving someone a £50 note to grab lunch and then pocket the change on Tuesday reminded me of a story from the past. When I was a sales manager and definitely not a billionaire, I had a few meetings back to back, so I asked one of the young new starters to take a breaking, so grab me some dinner. Didn't want to be a dick asking someone to get some dinner, so I said, I just want a meal deal from Tesco. Funny enough, I said that before, and that didn't quite happen. Get some, and I said, it was £2.50, get something for yourself, something as well. Give him a £20 note. He came back and had me dinner and £2.50 change. I asked where the rest of my change was. He said, I bought myself a new jumper for £15. Apparently I should have made it clear I meant a butty when I said get something yourself. That does strike me something Ned would do. It really does.
That's crazy.
It really does. So we got Barry on the
Barry's
line.
on the line.
Okay. Baz, go on, mate. Talk to me. Ned, not in anything. Ned.
Yeah, he's not got the best internet connection.
I can't hear a single thing. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Can I hear you now? Go on. Go on. Can I hear you now? Go on.
Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. Can I hear you now?
Guys, great show. I'm in the Barry lobby above board. Just a quick one on this Pereira conspiracy, if you want to call it that. Is he definitely linked? Is he definitely linked to Geraption, Pereira?
Yeah, 100%. 100.
Is he his agent?
He's nobody's agent. He's. I don't actually think he's got a license to be an agent. But that's not the way. Okay. That's not the way it necessarily works anymore. He owns a company, and the company deal with him, and the company has the agents. He's like a facilitator. He's like a guy who puts deals together. He's like a middleman.
Project manager.
So the reason I'm asking you is there was a little slip of the tongue today.
Yeah.
From Mashiri's mate on the radio, Jim White.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because Jim White said he's the favoured man at the moment, Pereira. He was chatting about that for a minute with Simon Jordan. Then out of nowhere, he said, by the way, he hasn't got an agent, he's just got a lawyer. And I thought, well, what's the relevance of saying that? That's not important, is it? But that sounds very like, to me, that Mashiri's asked him to drop that in somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah,
that's kind of, let's
distance ourselves.
Let's push. It's pushed the Indians off at the path, that, mate.
Yeah.
Just to keep the heat off Geraption.
Yeah.
That's exactly the sound type of thing he'd do that.
Absolutely.
And that's why it stinks to me.
Yeah, but that's the whole Sky. The whole Sky interview felt very scripted as well. It felt like he had certain...
I haven't seen that, mate, to be honest.
Well, he has like...
I'm in the bath, obviously.
Yeah, I can hear you in the bath, yeah. That's why I said no video.
Mate, I've subscribed to Patreon just to get me points over.
See? What a man. What a man. What a man who's in the back.
Yeah, what a man.
I want
clean.
Not only do I want more people to ring us up, I want more people to ring us up in weird positions. No, just weird places. Weird places. Nice one for that. No, when he was on Sky.
Mate, I don't ring. And You know what? I don't ring anywhere to anybody. I've just sat in the background for years, breakfast, everything. But I'm so hacked off at the moment.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
At the moment, me and my lad, the only things we watch is you on the telly.
Oh, nice one.
Because my head's cabbage with it.
I know. Mate. Well, he did say on Sky, basically what he said on Sky was like how much he wanted the job, but he had these little sound bites where he kept on mentioning Phil Jagielka and Leighton Baines and Tim Howard and how the atmosphere at Goodison was amazing, and he mentioned it twice, and that's what I think got me and Cam's attention where we were watching. It was like, hang on, why have you just said exactly the same thing twice? It was like they were little points that he was trying to make sure Evertonians sort of latched onto, where they've gone, oh, this guy this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, obviously, he's not going to sit there and go, oh, I remember Bracewell and Andy Gray. So he was giving us the whole Jagielka, Leighton Baines, Tim Howard thing. It was like, hang on, mate, come on.
Who else is in that squad?
It sounded a little bit scripted. So it's as I said, like Joraban is.
The really.
Go on.
Yeah. The really annoying thing is, mate, the real annoying thing, you know what people are like? Who did he think we are? Absolute mugs that we can't see through that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I know.
And then it looks to me like he's just going to go ahead with his decision by the look of it. I know there was talk of process tonight, and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, mate. I really don't know. This guy's either deliberately trying to lose money for some reason, or he's a complete fool. But I can't understand the man who's a billionaire, who's obviously astute, is just like throwing money away to the guy who's advising him. Or it's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's just crazy.
It doesn't add up, does it? None of it adds up. None of it adds up at all.
Worried, mate. I am worried.
No, I think we are. I think we're all
worried about it.
Yeah, I think we're all definitely worried now. I think we're all at that stage where we're all sitting there thinking this could really, really, really happen. I think most people are thinking it will happen now.
Well, the problem is, lads, is that Newcastle are going to spend money in the next 4 days. I know the digestion to make themselves look like, we're trying to be sensible with our money, but they will spend money.
Yeah.
And when we play Newcastle, they'll have 2 or 3 players in. It'll be like the Champions League final for them, and we'll be lambs to the slaughter. I just don't see us being up for it with a massive big full house, and them having new players.
Yeah, they've got positivity, haven't they? That's the difference. I mean, they're below us,
of course,
but they've got positivity. They've got players coming in. Yeah. They've got a sense of we're all pulling in the same direction. Yeah. Whereas to us, we're not. We feel like we're not just fighting the team we're playing. We're fighting our own board. We're fighting our own players. And I suppose we spoke about this a bit earlier. I suppose now for us fans, when we go to the next game, we have to all pull in the same direction, and that's not for the players. That's not for the board. That's for us. That's for us to say that when we go to match, we are all just saying, right, we want this club to stay in the Premier League. And if, like even before, I was saying, even if it doesn't inspire our players, it might put the opposition off. It might scare the living daylights out the opposition. But if that's the only thing we can do as fans, then we have to do that.
But I think they're in a different position as well, to be honest, because if you're a Newcastle fan and you think the 2 scenarios here, we get some players in and we save ourselves, or, the worst case scenario, we go down. They know that they've got a shed load of cash to sort themselves out, and they're not going to stay around in the Championship.
No.
I just think, we've talked about it on the show, if we go down, the stadium's a car park, mate. It's just... It's a totally different scenario for us going down.
Absolutely.
We're on the other side of it.
Absolutely.
Seesaw, mate, we're going down and they're going up,
Absolutely.
Spot on, mate.
Barry, absolutely brilliant to have you on in the back, mate.
Right, I'm going to have to go, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Baz.
I've got to get
Cheers.
a towel. See you later.
Nice one, Baz.
There you go. Listen, our first caller sitting in the back.
Baz in the back.
There's no excuse for you not to come on. Come on, patrons. Let's get you on. You're always crying for a phone in. Well, we're having a phone in
we
tonight.
Want weird places as well. Not on the couch. We want like on the roof.
I mean, if you haven't got a weird place, I'll just. I mean, would you class Skem as a weird place?
I'd class St Helens as a weird place.
Yeah, that is a weird place. I don't know if they could. They've got dial up though, so I don't even know if they can get in touch. But patrons, come on, let's get you on. We've got Dexy on. Oh, we're straight to our second call.
Straight in.
Dexy, how are you, mate? Well, you know it's not Baz, don't you? You know it's Ped. Come on. It's all right, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible, isn't it? This is what happens when you give me a crayon.
To be fair,
I
though,
paid a lot of money for these.
To be fair, though, Degs, a lot of kids his age are just sticking crayons up their nose, so
Yeah.
he's, to be writing on his arms is fine.
Well, I've seen them put other places, but there we go. But I've been to Amsterdam a lot. Anyway. Talking to Amsterdam, you've got to go to the banana bar. Anybody ever been to Amsterdam? Go to the banana bar.
This has took a turn.
What these girls can do with.
Sorry, I'll just cut you off
can sit
there.
at the back of the room.
Yeah, I'll just cut you off there. Go on. What's your point,
Okay.
Degs?
On to Vito Pereira.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got a point now. I've got to be honest. Anyway, I was sat. I just come in. I sat down, and then they said, "Oh, we got something to tell you about Everton." I thought, "Oh God, have we got a manager?" And then the bloke came on the line, and I thought somebody's having a wind up, are they? It's a wind up. And then I listened to him, and I thought, is somebody stood in front of him with a load of cards with writing on? For him to just read it. I was a bit flabbergasted.
Yeah, very strange.
I've got to be honest, it took a lot of bollocks. Very strange, but it took a lot of bollocks. Excuse the euphemism, but it took a lot of bollocks to make a call to such a station and talk live.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
When you think about it, and we've heard more from that man today than we've heard since we sacked Benitez.
Yeah. No. I mean, it has been
It's
quite
true,
quiet.
isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean.
I suppose that's the hard part, though, isn't it, Degs? Because when all this happens, I suppose it's a very English. I don't know. I mean, I don't really hear this anywhere else, but it is like a very English thing too. When things like this happen and managers, everyone keeps quiet and no one says anything. So why not go on Sky Sports and sell yourself a little bit?
Why not? Yeah, do you know what I mean? I got to be honest. Let's face it. The man is obviously a professional in his job.
Yeah.
But I've never ever seen anything or heard anything like it before.
No,
it's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is totally mad, isn't it? And could you imagine Frank Lampard or the other whoever else is sat at home on the sofa? Do you think their cups of teas and their coffees they'd have been floating in them? They'd been like drowned, laughing their heads off.
I suppose.
Or do you think they'd have taken it quite seriously?
To be honest, Degs, I do believe that has happened through the agent, and it's a way of trying to sell himself. Because this guy, all we know about him is what is on his CV, what is on Wikipedia, what is on, we haven't heard from this guy, we don't know about this guy, we haven't connected about this guy.
We don't know a lot about him at all, no.
And as embarrassing and as cringy as it was, we've all just got a little bit of an insight into the guy. So I think from that point of view, people might go, you know what, this guy speaks, number one, he speaks good English. So first of all, you can say, well, he speaks good English. Second thing is that he appears to understand the philosophy of what is required at Everton when he was somehow the crowd and getting behind them and intensity and somehow like ex-plays and stuff. And he might have just thought that, or they might have just thought they needed to get him across to fans. So fans weren't just making a judgment based on his results.
Yeah, what they've read.
But as a football fan, I'd probably rather take the judgment on how a man is actually managed rather than... You know what I mean?
I did understand what he was talking about, because one of the blank things that we've looked at, or most fans have looked at, is the 1860 Munich thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now that club has nothing, basically. There's no resources, nothing.
Third division now, aren't they?
What we did, they're up and down. They're up and down like yo-yos. But they're like the second club of the city. Although they're the oldest club of the city.
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They also had an agent in their ear when they made the decision.
They produce players, and they're required to play the players they produce, to sell, and that's how you have to manage that football club.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can really look into 1860 Munich as, do you know what I mean? It's just one of those clubs, you're either in charge of it. And like he said, he's not a manager. He's there to coach. Do you know what I mean?
That's terrifying.
When he was talking about, I'm not going to be a manager. I've got nothing to do with it. You know, they kept on saying I talked to him about bringing players in.
Yeah.
He said, well, that's got nothing to do with me. So who's doing that?
The other fella, I'd imagine.
I hear when you read the Mashiri statement, he says Bill Canwright is in charge of transfers.
Well, he mentioned Bill having an involvement in the 3 players that have come in already.
Well, he actually did say that, you know, Kenwright actually does the transfer work because he's seen as a gentleman within football, so he knows the football people. So is that the way it's going to run, or is there somebody actually running the football side?
I think for the next 4 days, Degs, and which is all that really matters, that's going to be the way it runs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change in the next. We've got till Monday, so it'll basically be probably Bill Kenwright negotiating our end, George Mann negotiating the middle bit.
Who he wants in.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. And the manager, I imagine whoever they appoint in the next 3 or 4 days, whether it be Lampard or whether it be Pereira, they will have a 2 or 3 players that they will want in straight away. And it's
surely those things would have been talked about in these interviews, as he talks about. Yeah, he must have seen, you know, because they've got to go in these interviews with a plan, and
that's
they've got
it,
to put their plan out, haven't they?
That's all.
That's what they're not interviews. It's what they're actually saying, what they can do to stop the club from going down, aren't they? That's what the interview is.
Yeah, that's it, innit? That's all it can be. Yeah. It's got to be a plan in the short term, plan in the long term.
They're telling them what to do.
So they need players.
They feel they can do it.
They need players, and obviously the chairman will speak to his mate, and then Bill Kenwright will speak to probably the opposition and who you know, whether they're coming in or whatever, and that's how it'll have to be done for the next 5 days. And
it's true. Yeah.
And it'll be up to Everton then to sort out what happens in the future.
Can I also just take you back to the Villa game, Pad?
Oh, go on, mate.
Did it not surprise you how the ground still felt dead?
Yeah, I've said this, mate. Said this in the last few days.
It wasn't what I was expecting at all. I expected the place to be bouncing.
Yeah, it really. Go on,
and there was, apart from, you know, them coming out, even when they were playing better in the second half, there was like it was just dull, wasn't it? It
was flat, mate. That's what the crowd lifted to that.
Crescendo and whatever, and you know, there was no, there was just no atmosphere.
No. Go ahead, Cam. What was your thoughts on that?
No, it was again. I think there was a lot of nerves and anxiety, and understandably so, because of the situation that we're in. And there's a lot of worry at the moment about that. You know, every game is such a big game. Every game's a must-win at this point. And you know, again, Saturday was against the side that we could have beaten. The game previously against Brighton was against the team we could have beaten. Same with Norwich. But as I said earlier, you know, for those 90 minutes, everybody can have problems with the board and protests and this, that, and the other, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm with that, and I agree with that. But for those 90 minutes that we're at Goodison Park, whether it be on a Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, whenever it may be, we've got to get behind our football club, get behind the players on the pitch, the manager in the dugout, because ultimately, as Ped quite rightly said earlier, players will come and go. These players in the next 5 years won't be here, and there might be 1 or 2 of them. Most of them will be gone. Managers will come and go. Board members will come and go. We will always be the one constant. We'll be here from birth until death, and that could be a long life. Hopefully it is a long life for all of us. So we are the one constant throughout this football club. And, you know, if we don't get into Goodison and get behind the team and get behind, you know, our club, then these players have got a perfect excuse to say, well, the atmosphere was poor or the fans weren't behind us. We know these players need us behind them. We absolutely know it. They've proven it year in, year out. They say it themselves in interviews, you know, the 12th man. You know, every time we win and the atmosphere is good, the first thing the players say in an interview is the atmosphere. It's never, look at how well we played, or we're working on this insane, and it's, oh my God, the atmosphere was brilliant. These players need us. They proved last year during the pandemic when nobody could go to the stadium that they weren't capable of putting in consistent, decent performances. At Goodison, we were awful because there was no crowd, there was nobody getting behind them, there was nobody backing them. Our best performance of the season, arguably, or our best win of the season, arguably, against Arsenal, come in a game where the atmosphere was the best.
That was every club, though, wasn't it? No, I don't think there was one club had a good home record last.
No, I understand that. But I just think that, you look at Man City, and I feel like Man City could play in front of no one and perform as well as they do in front of a full stadium. Certain other teams could do that, but Everton have always and will always be a club that if every single Evertonian in that stadium is behind the players and battling and giving their voice and screaming and leaving everything in the ground, then the players are more likely to do that, and that means we're more likely to get a result in games. And at this point, when we're literally looking at it thinking, forget your manager, we just need to start winning games of football. And if we don't bring in a couple of players before the end of the window, you could bring Blum Jesus in as manager, and we ain't gonna win. We ain't gonna stay up. So we just need to focus on winning games of football. And us as fans, I feel for that, everybody can do whatever they want beyond them 90 minutes, protest, banners, sit-ins, this, that, and the other. But for them 90 minutes, I think it's at this point now we've just got to give it everything. As
nice
fans.
one.
I just feel that in this day and age, people go to the match with a different agenda. They don't go to support the clubs anymore. It's at every ground. Do you know what I mean? You've got a couple of grounds like Leicester and Crystal Palace where the supporters go.
Palace is amazing, isn't it?
To support the club, and we don't. We just go there to sit, drink coffee, drink tea. And clap.
It's become like a bit of a burden, hasn't it? But we need to make.
It has become.
We're back.
It's just become a strange place, and I don't know where it started, and I don't know what will end it, other than maybe just having a manager that we all feel that connects us all together.
Yeah.
To be honest, Dex. Sorry to cutting you off. Just the Reds in here. I think, we've spoken to them a few times about different things, and they just said they had all this when Rodgers was in charge, and certainly when Hodgson was in charge, and the owners and stuff. But as soon as they got a manager who pulled them all together, who backed up what he said, and pulled them all into line as well. The guy, and I've said this a few times, Klopp, the best thing Klopp ever did for Liverpool was he challenged the fans. He turned around to the fans and he said, "Why are you all getting off early? We play to the 90 minutes, so you stay to the 90 minutes."
Yeah.
And he said, "Why is the atmosphere so bad at the ground?" He spoke directly to them. And this is something that me and Baz have addressed on so many times, of having a manager who turns around to the fans and says, "You've got to be with me and we will get our best results." But the club are so scared of the fan base that they refuse to communicate with us. So a manager never really gets this is something that Marco Silva could have had a good career at Everton if he just put himself across better to the fans, and he didn't, and then the club didn't do anything with him, and the next minute he's very easy to sack because no one really cares. And that's one of the things for me. We need a manager who pulls us all together, who pulls us all in the same direction and says, "Follow me." Follow me. That great thing, you hear from in things like Band of Brothers and all that. Great leaders say it. They don't say run into that, run on that beach on your own. They say, "Follow me. I'll lead us there." That's what great leaders do, and we haven't had a great leader. So what happens is the club then. We shouldn't know about Farhad Moshiri. We shouldn't have known about people like Marcel Brands. We shouldn't know who's on the board, who gives a monkeys about the chairman, who gives a monkeys about who the club secretary is. None of those things we should know about. All we should see is we've got a great manager. When we used to go to match and we had Moyes, and all we cared about, we sung David Moyes' name, and we didn't even sing players' names. We sung David Moyes. And we have to find a manager who can makes us believe that again. A great manager who makes us all want to pull in the right direction, in the same direction. And until we get that, I think we're going to continue with this infighting that we all seem to have.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I understand it. I get it. There's only one man at the club then, isn't there? But there's even some doubters with that. And if we want that sort of manager, it's got to be Duncan.
Yeah. But then there's doubts about him, isn't there? Because the proof's got to be in the pudding. And on Saturday, he bottled it.
I mean, if you know anything about football, if you really do know anything about football, that team that went out on Saturday, it was twice as good as we've been watching. It was.
No, it was better, yeah.
Yeah,
it was better,
much
yeah.
better. And only somebody like him who can grab older people and shake them. And that's what needed. Yeah. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dexy, nice one for joining us, mate.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Nice one, Dex, mate.
Bye. And Cam, stay away from crayons, mate.
I'm already booked in for another one, mate. Sorry.
Cheers, Dex.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Apologies if that cut out halfway through. The software crashed. And apologies if you couldn't hear Dexy at the beginning. That was Ned's fault. Let's get it right. No.
Andro.
We've got Astro. Is Astro on ready now?
Just waiting for the link to...
There he is. I can hear him.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Here he is. I can hear him.
What do you mean you're waiting for the link? He's here. He's ready. He's waiting.
Yeah.
But the guys on YouTube...
I'm always ready.
He's
ever ready, baby. Ready to go.
Astro's always ready.
Astro's always on it.
That's right.
Oh.
Shoot, I'll be waiting on me. You backing up. I'm always heading forward, man.
Astro is the
I tell you
kind of
what,
guy.
I didn't know.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
I didn't.
Ned, I can hear myself. You've broken, Ned.
He's broken again.
Oh,
Oh no.
Ned. Sort yourself out.
Yeah, we're back.
Astro is the kind of guy that you can say, he will say, follow me.
Yeah.
This
Leader.
guy, I'm telling you.
Leader.
Go on, mate.
Well, you know what, right? I was just gonna say, you don't say follow me. You look at the people behind you and say, y'all try to keep up, because I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm gonna dare you to keep up with me, and you lead from the front. You get out. You show people how you want to do things. You know, you take the fire. You know what I mean? And you show the way. Problem is that there is a vacuum of leadership at Everton, and that crazy train that we hopped on today on Sky Sports, like, I didn't even get to see it. I only got to see the reaction to it, and I'm literally like, well, who had that on their crazy train bingo card today? I didn't. And I'm trying to listen. I used a lot more colorful language to describe the confusion that I feel. Like honest to goodness, like the club is setting the bar lower and lower and lower. Like, it's like, instead of charging onwards and upwards, we're like, it's like, how low can you go? Like, how ridiculous can you be? And it's just, I don't know. Like, listen, the altimeter is ticking down, right? We I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like Cam, I know that you're younger than me, and Ped, I'm a little bit older than you, but you guys have obviously been, you've got more than a decade of Everton under your belt. Like, honestly, can you tell me, has there ever been a more chaotic period of time in this football club than what we're seeing right now?
Not in my life.
I think there's been chaos, but the problem is it doesn't get played out the same way now, because, of course, spoke about this a couple of times, 94 and 98, the Premier League and the coverage of the Premier League wasn't anywhere near what it is now. We certainly didn't have Sky Sports News the way it is now. We didn't have the interest that we have in it now. We didn't have we didn't have the internet. Let's be honest, we didn't have the internet in 94 and 98. We didn't have social media. So we didn't have the chaos that ultimately is created. We didn't have as much noise. We had, let's be honest, in the 90s, I used to go to my dad's car and listen to the 7 o'clock news for Radio Merseyside to hear a couple of minutes of sport to find out whether Andre Kanchelskis was any closer to signing. That's what it used to be like. Yeah. There was no coverage like there is now, where it's 24/7, and the chaos is created to fill airtime, let's be honest. And it's all consuming now, so it takes over your entire life. You can't switch off. We all grab the phone, and even now Twitter with the with spaces and things like that, it's all consuming now. And so it's never felt this chaotic. And with chaos is just noise, isn't it? It's just noise all the time now, and there's stories, and there's inches to be filled in newspapers and on websites. There have to be. So you get 1 hour, you get Pereira's not interested in the job, he's been put off by fans. Literally an hour later, the guy's on Sky Sports News. And what that is, clearly, is people reacting, though, isn't it? That's people reacting in real time. That's people reacting and understanding the space. We've now. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's Sky Sports News. There's nothing going on. We're in an international break. Get this guy on Sky Sports News to sell himself to the Everton fans. It'll make news because these are all rejoicing. Do you think he've gone? There's a poll on Toffee TV that says 95% of the people want Lampard. They're reacting to that in real time, and that's the scary thing.
Well, you have to imagine, right? Let's say that I'm interviewing for the job, right? And Sky Sports calls me and says, "Hey, we want to have you on for an interview." Okay, first of all, I'm actually going to have the, walking common sense to go, "No, I'm good." But if you are adventurous, you're going to go, "Hang on, I'm going to call somebody at the club and just see what they think." If I'm the communications director at Everton and this cat calls me on the phone and says, "Hey, man, you think I ought to get on Sky Sports and talk about?" I'm be like, "No, you need to shut, you need to shut up, man." You know what I mean? You need to zip it, lock it, throw it away. I mean, that's it. But the whole thing is that like either this dude's crazy, or like crazier than a sack of wet cats, or the club has lost control of yet another narrative. Right?
Yeah.
Like these are the kind of things, like if I'm the boss and I walk in, I want to know who's in charge of this, who had a leash on this dude, and who let him out. And unless that person's like, Nan just died, they're getting fired. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it is though.
Like consequences. I'm gonna drop big house-shaped consequences on people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Think about it though. Think about it though, Nick, is. And by the way, for people watching at home, this is Astro. It's not Ted Lasso. Just want to get that across. It's not Ted Lasso. All right. I wish it was Roy Kent. No, but the thing is though, this guy will not have anything to do with. He's not an Everton employee. He's got nothing to do with Everton as we speak. But the guy in Mashiri's ear is pushing Mashiri to make him the manager. Right. The guy is speaking to Mashiri, so the guy will be pushing. And this is the same guy that will be pushing Mashiri to go on TalkSport and talk. Yeah. So he'll have pushed Pereira and said, "Go on Sky Sports News, the number one source for football in the country. Go on there and get your case over. Let them ask you any question." I mean, I know you haven't seen it, Nick, but they said to him, "What did you feel about seeing your name graffitied on Goodison Park?" And we were sitting in the studio literally cringing at the question. Like, how do you answer something like that? You're trying to sell yourself to a football club, and you've just been told the fans don't want you. It was cringeworthy, but it sounded like that, he'd been put there to sell himself as much as he could, because he knew that we'd all be hanging on every word. Because, like I was just saying to Dexy then, we don't know this guy. We only know what his reputation is. We don't know his character. He's not been around the Premier League. We're not privy to the things he's done in other countries. Number one, the guy speaks good English, so that might be a box ticked. And then the guy was trying to get across that he's got passion, that he understands. So fair play. I get what you were saying. I get what the guy's saying. It just come across as really desperate. Yeah. That's the word, desperate. Like I've got a plane booked for 6:30 and I'm waiting on a phone call. Honestly, it felt really desperate.
And then he answered the question saying, I won't wait around. I'll get on with my life," which made it sound even more desperate. Yeah. If he'd have just said, "Yeah, I am waiting for the call. Let's wait and see what happens," it'd have probably sounded a bit less. But I'm fully expecting Frank to go on and do one now. He's
going on Loose Swimming.
He's going on Loose Swimming. Just for the next episode of Everton, the drama. Directed by...
Nick, I always like to pick you up on these things, but have you ever heard anyone doing this in America? Is this something that ever happens in America?
No. Am I back on?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Yeah. No, my phone overheated. So
okay.
That's why I went quiet for a couple of minutes. No. Listen, listen. It's stranger than fiction, right? Like, I think back to the most recent vacancies in the local teams that I support, and no, you don't have this. This is just so like, it's so Everton. But yet, when you apply that to anything else, you go, no, that would never happen. And, like, even before now, I would have said, no, that wouldn't happen. But now, I rule nothing out. Listen, if you told me that, like, for the Brentford match, that they were going to bring Fred, the Jaffa Cake kicking donkey, out as the new mascot, and he was going to backheel Jaffa Cakes into the Glotty Street Inn, I'd be like, you know what? Fred's cool, man. Like, let's get on board with that. Like, nothing would surprise me anymore. Like, nothing would surprise me anymore. No. I mean, it's that bizarre.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's like somebody at the club, like, somebody's got to be sitting at their desk going, all right, that's it. I've had enough. And I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to say something to somebody. I don't care if I get sacked. I can't carry on with this anymore because my professional standard and my integrity won't allow this to be the case anymore. I don't know. At least I tell you this, if I was in the room, I'd get fired right now because I'd be like, look, somebody's got to call this out. Like, crazy like this, it either gets locked up or it gets stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
also,
see what happens with it.
Also because if half of if the board want Lampard, but then this guy wants his guy in Pereira, it's like, what is going on at this football club? Like, surely if it's a vote, then it should be what the board wants. But then I don't trust the board either. So it's like, where's the power's being taken? I used to always say, right, Marcel Brands was the adult in the room. Whether you like them or not, that's how I used to refer to them, as the adult in the room. And now the adult in the room's been taken away, and the kids are running wild. Yeah. But the problem is the kid is a billionaire who gets what he wants, backed up by a Russian billionaire. And they get what they want, and they know what buttons to press. But the game is up, my friend. Me and Cam talking about this at early on at 1 o'clock. The genie is out the bottle now. Mashiri will never, ever be trusted ever again. He is gone. He is finished in the eyes of Evertonians. Nobody trusts this guy now. Nobody trusts him, and he'll never, even if Everton put a structure in place and he stayed away, Everton fans would just say, please stay away as far as you can, because nobody trusts this guy anymore. He's lost it now. He has lost it.
A couple of quick thoughts,
Go
right?
on.
If you think that message was written by him on Friday, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona for you, okay? Y'all just give Astro a call. I'll get you sorted. Second thing
that joke, by the way, may not work. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, just to jump in. That joke may not work.
Nobody's gonna get that here. It's a George Strait song. Yeah, it's not gonna hit right. But I gotta say this, right? This Kia Chupacabra, like that's Grima worm tonguing in Mashiri's ear. Let me tell you something. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
And this fool ran Reading into the ground. There's a great athletic article about this chucklehead, right, who runs around lining his ass pocket with other people's money, you know, making deals and everything like that. Let me tell you something. If that dude told me that water was wet, I'd say, nah, I'm going to find out for myself, because I won't trust him as far as I could throw him. I mean, honest to goodness, he's wrecked QPR. He's wrecked Reading, and now for some reason we're gonna let him in our hen house and wake up tomorrow morning and go, why are the chickens dead? Because you let a fox in the hen house, you damn doofus. I mean, honest to goodness, like there's no metric of common sense that can be applied to this absolute charade, this buffoonery that's being carried on right now. And I don't know, I struggle to believe that there's not a sane person in the room who's just going to stand up and go, yeah, I'm going to fall on my sword, but y'all all crazy. Like, y'all all, like, off your rocker, and I'm not going to be a part of this anymore. Walk out the door, ring up Sky Sports, and go, look, here's what's going on. And for the sake of my own conscience, I have to unburden myself of this soul-crushing crazy that I've been subjected to at Everton. I mean, I don't know. I honestly just, I've always tried to, like, kind of work a way out. Like, oh, this is what we'll do, and then this will work, and then that'll work. All I see now is pure chaos. Like, pure chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on, mate, spot on. And how do we sort that out?
Sorry, I apologize for the rant, but...
No, it's all right, we want rants.
We want rants. That's what we want. That's what we like.
We want rants.
But no, you're right. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whilst these people who are causing the chaos and these children in the room are running around throwing the toys out the pram when they don't get what they want,
toys,
are still
mate, it's their own
involved.
feces.
Yeah. Well, while they're still in charge, nothing's going to change. They're not all of a sudden going to wake up and go, I'll grow up today. I'll actually, make a good decision for the club, or I'll actually, have something constructive to do. Unless these people have moved out and moved away, we're still going to continue to be in this situation. Vito Pereira has clearly felt either very desperate, or he's been told by whether it be the owner or Kia Sportage 1.2 litre engine to go out and do an interview.
Talk about the chupacabra.
Yeah.
Kia chupacabra.
To go out and do an interview to try and sell himself. But ultimately, that doesn't work with Evertonians.
Kia Kobakai, that's it.
That's the one, Kia Kobakai.
As Baz in the bath said before, we're not stupid.
Yeah.
We're not going to read it and all of a sudden go, oh, he's mentioned Howard, Baines and Jagielka twice, which must mean he watched Everton. I'd have loved for that interview to say, name me 3 other players in that team and see what he said. Because someone's obviously gone, just talk about Baines,
Victor.
Howard, Coleman,
Big Vic.
Jagielka.
Big Vic. We had Big Vic.
And he was linked with David Moyes in charge, so he's probably just been to a game and written down the names he remembers.
Yeah. There you go. Crazy.
Does he know Segundo Castillo?
He
If he
doesn't.
doesn't, move him on.
Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't know. If he doesn't know who the Strack is, he
If he doesn't know Dennis,
Oh,
then
there you go.
Yeah. If he didn't know what the answer was to get Joe on, then he doesn't know.
yeah, that's
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
That's it.
I've just had this comment from Andy McGregor, the Piv,
Piv.
who says,
Who
who says,
alert.
Astro sounds like an 80s wrestling babyface waiting for Ric Flair to slam the cage door on his face.
Oh, no. See, that's where, Piv might be right about football, but let me tell you what he's wrong about. Let me tell you something. If I'd have been with Flair back in the 80s, I would have infiltrated the Four Horsemen, and I'd have snatched that belt from him like candy from a short-armed baby. Let me tell you something. That's how it would have gone down. I'd have dropped a Hogan big leg on him from the top rope. Let me tell you something. No. Listen, Ric Flair might have been Space Mountain, but I'm the space program. I take you all the way to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Lunar
Astro.
orbit, son. Drop a house on him. That's what I would have done.
This is well better than
Let's
talking
see.
about Everton. Get
There
in.
you go.
McGregor smack talking
what you get,
Astro,
yeah.
and Astro is just throwing it back at you. Next time, I want McGregor in here.
That's right.
Pumping it, and
Yeah.
then all I'll see is the door will open.
Oh, and the smoke.
Ultimate Warrior
The smoke.
theme song will come on, and Astro come running down.
Oh, please.
Make it happen. Let's
Please
make it happen.
Andy, come in, please. We don't have to talk about football. In fact, it'd be great if we could
Andy
talk about football.
Andy McGregor's not allowed to come in.
Piv's finish would be called
Go on.
the XG.
Did you hear that, Astro?
Ned, you're terrible. You're
Degeneration.
No, I did not hear that.
Oh, he said
Ned.
Andy McGregor's move would be called the XG. Degeneration XG.
Okay.
Generation.
And it's not funny, Astro. You don't have to be polite because it's not funny.
You can just tell him.
You can just say you're not funny.
He's got extremely tight pants on today. Actually, I can
he's got
see them from this
horrendous.
angle.
No. That was pretty good.
Okay.
That was pretty good. Now I've got to think about what
Yeah,
my finishing move was going to be.
All right. Well, listen, we'll come back to it on that, mate. So, because we've got another caller that we've got on,
Yeah.
and we will get you. Well, Ned,
Get everybody else on.
Astro, hopefully, will be doing the podcast with me sometime this week as well, where we'll smash this out.
Yes.
There you go. Astro, thanks for
Nice
calling,
one,
mate.
my
See
mate.
you later.
Yes.
Thank you. See you later, mate.
All right, mate. All right.
Cheers, mate. See you after.
Top man. Yeah.
Belter.
Ella Sims has gone to Hearts on loan.
Yep.
That has happened.
That's happened, yeah. in the last
There is
half an hour.
there is a demonstration at Goodison Park tonight. I think it's at 7 o'clock.
7 it is.
7 o'clock. It's at. So that's going to be happening.
56 minutes from now. if
Yeah,
anything else
that's
to be
happening.
Dixie Dean statue, I believe. For those that want to.
Is that what it's happening?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyone? Baz has got COVID. I've seen a few people in the comments saying, "Where is Baz?"
I am Baz. I've been put
He's
in
got-
the washing machine. I'm Baz from.
He's got
from the
COVID.
past.
So, and also, listen, if you get on, it's only we've got plenty of time. I'm not going anywhere. I'll sit here all night. I'm not asked. I mean, these two won't. These have probably got to go and have a wrestle with each other somewhere or something, because that's what they like
Perform
doing.
the XG.
I
know.
Get on the calling. I want many people on the calling. I actually want to make this a regular thing on a Wednesday. What happened there?
I've just volleyed the charger by accident. Ned's laptop's just nearly
Ned.
gone through.
I want to make this a regular thing every Wednesday night. I want to make the phone-in a thing on a Wednesday night. So if you're not on Patreon, get on Patreon. If you're on Patreon, get on the phone-in. And we have got Darren ready to go.
Come on, Darren.
Ned.
I think he's there.
Hiya, lads.
He's there. He's there. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks. Just to let you know, I'm from America too. I moved there years ago.
No, you haven't. You are not from America.
He lives in America.
I moved there. I left Liverpool 5-6 years ago.
I don't believe you.
So I've been keeping up with you guys. You guys keep me in tune with what's
Where
going
do you
on,
live now?
Because obviously, I actually used to in Pennsylvania.
Oh, my mate lives in Pennsylvania. Do you know him?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for the contact, lads.
No worries, mate.
Up to date.
No worries.
So I actually used to play. Oh,
Ned.
Someone else has joined.
Ned. Mute the new people, Ned. Go on. If you come on, don't start shouting.
Yeah. So I actually.
Go on, Daz.
I actually wanted to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, because obviously I'm a big Everton fan. Played there as a kid. Coached there in the community for a while, and then moved to America. I remember back when Vitor was first linked with the job. We went with we might be gone, but that's when we took Bobby Martinez.
It was, it was.
Yeah.
I actually liked Vitor over Bobby back then.
I did.
I don't think he's obviously done very well. I don't think he's done very well since then, obviously. But I look at it. Like from the outside view of like the board side of things, right? They listen. They obviously know what the fans say. Now, back when before we couple managed, back when everyone was saying, "Oh, Moyes was linked," and all the fans were saying, "No, we don't want Moyes back. We don't. That's backward step for the club. Everything's negative. Backward step. Would you take Moyes now if he was
mate.
I'd snatch it hand off for him.
I'd go and pick him up right now. I'd literally go and pick him up.
And that's the problem, I think, with the fans, is we lost the sight of who we are. We really started to instead of when Farhad came in, we all started to think, right, we're the next City.
Yeah.
We need a Pep. We need a Carlo.
Yeah. Do you know why?
That's not us.
Do you know why though?
Not us.
Do you know why though? Because we were the third club literally who were bought by a billionaire. There was no other billionaires around at the time. We were literally the next one after Chelsea and City. So we had delusions of how it was going to be done, and it could have been done, but if we'd done it the right way, and you're right, we'd done it our way. Like literally, if you'd give Moyes half of the money that we've wasted, I think we would have won trophies. I'm not saying we would have won the league, but I think if Moyes had been given half the money that these people have been given, I think we would have won the league, because his structures would have been cemented, and you build on them and you win things with that. What we've done is literally just gone out.
You said it before.
Yeah.
You said it before. Moyes was a follow me manager, right? And everyone got behind him, and we've not had that since, and we're not going to have that again until we find someone that fits that bill, and they're not out there. And who we're being linked with now, it doesn't matter. You're not. I don't think the fans won't get around Frank because he's from London. The fans wouldn't get around Benitez because of the Liverpool connection. Like for me, I almost feel bad for Farhad's come in and he spent a lot of money, and he gave us what we were hoping for years. He gave us money and we've spent it. Now we haven't spent it great, That's for granted, and he's and he has made some bad decisions. But at the end of the day, we've got to look at where we once were to where we are now, and maybe think maybe it's us along the way that lost ourselves. We lost ourselves not as well as the club.
Yeah, I think
Everton fans aren't like they were when I was there.
I think as fans
10, 15, 20 years ago.
I think social media's got a huge part to play in that.
You're right.
And when I say social media, I mean everything involved in that. I mean, fans have grown up, and it's not just our fans, by the way. I have this conversation with Baz quite a lot. It's not our fans, it's all fans. If you look at the fan bases of most teams in the Premier League, their fans, their modern fans, are very reactionary. It's all about what happened this week, last week, and the week before, rather than the whole picture. And I think that's that narrative that's been created by social media and like Sky Sports News of like what the story of the week is. Like 3 defeats and you are in some kind of terrible trouble. And you're absolutely right about fans, and I'll hold my hand up in this, by the way. We have all lost our way. You know, I was part. I've got no problem in saying I was part of the one of the people. If other people want to admit this is fine. But I definitely will admit that I was one of the people who was like 45 million for a player. Yeah, who gives a monkeys? It's not my money. Do you know what I mean? Because to me it was like it was that whole new money thing. It was like. We didn't appreciate the money because we hadn't had it. So it's just like, do you want 30 million? Give them 32 million so they can go to shop and buy themselves something nice. You know, I was definitely on board with that. Yeah, Michael Keane, 30 million? Yeah, give them what they want. Yannick Blassie, give them what they want. I am definitely part of it. I've got no problem. I hold my hands up. And because it's all out there on video, most of it. But I was part of that, and I think a lot of people were part of that, is that we never built the structure that meant that after we'd paid 30 million for Michael Keane, the next one that come along, we wouldn't be buying for 30 million, we'd be buying for 20 million. And we'd be buying him 5 years younger, and we'd done all the scouting and all the due diligence. You've seen it now with Newcastle. Newcastle are buying lots of players for really expensive players. But the reason is that it's pure desperation. Now, they might have stuff going on in the background. They might get Dan Ashworth from Brighton, who does all that stuff. So in the first place, yeah, you go out and you buy players to try and keep you up or try and get you into Europe. But it's how you build on that, and we've never built on that. And I think for a long time, I can't speak for all fans, but just by judging, and I'll bring Cam on this. Cam, are you guilty of that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, that I think that saying that you've just mentioned, then who cares? It's not my money, was one that was thrown about by a lot of us. And you know, as you said, in 2016, when we were taking over, you know, it was obviously the general sort of feeling around the fan base and the club was very much, yes, we're going to be the new Manchester City. We're going to go out and we're going to, and the media feed into that, and they're doing it with Newcastle now. You're hearing people say, oh, you know, well, they won't win the league this year, but you know, they might be in the Champions League in 3 or 4 years, and you think they're in a literal relegation battle, and they're still being spoken about as if you know everything's in place for them to go and win trophies purely because they've got a little bit of money, and you know that it was the same when.
It's more than that though. I think the fans lose sight because what you don't see is like what goes on. The City are so big because of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course.
They can buy
and City,
they've got everything.
Yeah.
All over the world.
City had another
clubs all over the world. It's huge.
City had. Someone said this to me yesterday. I think it was a City fan might have mentioned it to Baz, and he mentioned it to me. City had also a terrible start. In fact, don't people forget that they've had 2 owners who had a lot of money. They had because there was no FFP. They had the opportunity to write off all the mistakes they had and had a chance to redo it under you know the people who own the club now. Because of FFP, we've never had that opportunity. And it's funny, just from Andy McGregor there in the comments, the Piv, he's been talking to me for so long about this modern way of creating football clubs, or how you have to have the people in place, a Dan Ashworth controlling the club, a guy in the background, in the centre of everything, pulling everything together. We were talking about it yesterday. It's like, because we all know, if our football club's not doing well, we want nothing to do with the club. We're not going to go on the shop and buy anything. We're not going to go and, you know, if there's let's say there's a under-23 games or there's the women's games and it's there. If Everton win on a Saturday and there's a women's game on the Sunday, you might go, oh, do you know what? I might just go down it, be boss. Get him. If you get beat, you're like, not. I couldn't care less about that. You want to switch off from Everton, and you need someone in place because he links all that together so that it all works together. And sadly, we haven't got that, and we've got a guy at the top who just doesn't quite understand. And you know, and as I say, we've all fallen into the trap, I think.
We've got what we wish for, didn't we? That's the problem. That's what we've got to take a hard, long look at ourselves in the mirror. We got what we wish for because we put the pressure on to get people in and get people out. Obviously, unfortunate, like losing Carlo Ancelotti the way we did, but you know everything else. Walsh, Marcel Brands. 2 months, 3 months ago, everyone was out for Marcel Brands' head.
Yeah.
Right. And the pressure the fans put on the club has to listen. It has to. And I know, with now, we're all involved again. We don't want Vitor. We want Frank Lampard or whatever. To be honest, I don't think either of them are going to.
No, I don't want Frank Lampard. I don't want Frank Lampard, but if I have to pick one of the two, and that's the issue, isn't it? The issue is we didn't have a guy in place who picks the next manager because he didn't pick the last manager because he's not allowed to. So we've got a situation where we're now down to this short list of 2 managers that we don't really want either of them. But Frank Lampard is sort of seen as the one because he's got Premier League experience. But I certainly don't want Frank Lampard as the Everton manager. Go on, Daz.
Not much, is it? It's not. He's not got much experience. As he took Chelsea to 8th, and then obviously they went on when Tuchel come in. But this is the question: is I get up at 7 in the morning to watch the games. What a way to ruin your day, by the way. Wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning with a stinking hangover to watch that dog water. Yeah, run around the pitch. The missus just knows when Everton have lost when she comes in. Like she doesn't even ask. But we don't. Again, I've lost my trail of thought there. Just thinking about the last game I watched, just so pissed off. I couldn't even think for the rest of the day. But yet we can't. The thing is with Dunk, you're looking to Dunk now, and I agree. I said to my mate, because he's a Spurs fan, and he rips me over here, and he said to me, Dunk, I was like, no, Goodison Park is going to be rocking versus Aston Villa. Yeah, is that you got Steven Gerrard on the opposite side to him. Yeah, and you've got and the fans weren't there. So no. I mean, you guys were talking about before. You're right. Everyone in that ground needs to get behind the team, and it's ridiculous to say, our football team can't play unless the fans are the 12th man. Yeah, but you got to think about what a lot of normal fans don't think about is think of all the turmoil that you feel. Think what the players feel. They're in the middle of it. They're in it every day, not knowing who's going to be in the training ground, who's going to be in the squad. They look at social media. They're all young lads. Yeah, who's absolutely slamming them every day. You see, you seen it yesterday with Fab Romano coming out talking about Dele Alli, saying, "Well, Everton could be a prospect, but he wants to know who the new manager is." Dominic Calvert-Lewin is supposed to be, thinking about his future because of course he needs the club to go in the right direction so that his career goes in the right direction. That only makes sense. And of course they do. Of course players do look at social media. Of course they do. And it's social media. I just hope they get it sorted out. Yeah, of course, mate. Because otherwise, if they don't, I don't think we'll go down. Touch wood. I don't think we will. I think there'll be a resurgence at some point in the season. Yeah, we are. I hope so. We're a good side. We've got a good side. People, I know we have got good players. Right, we have. No, we have got a few good players. Yeah. We just got to get the best out of them. I mean, people slate Michael Keane. Michael Keane, at some point, has looked great, but then the problem is he has no confidence. Yeah. He looks great in a bin. he had a stretch where he played well. No, he does. He plays well in a low block next to Mina. Yeah. He can, but I think once you watch him when any kind of striker's got any kind of movement, and he looks like one of those statues in Crosby. So he's the only 29-year-old who's got the confidence of a 13-year-old boy going to school disco. That's true. You know what I mean? He looks like he just everyone else is getting in there and getting a grip, and he's just standing there tapping his foot. He's tapping his foot. I'll let the next person on. Cheers, Darren. Thanks very much, mate. I hope you do this again. We will. We do it we're trying to do it every week, so make sure you join us and give us your terrible tales from Pennsylvania. Cheers, mate. Covered in snow and cold. All right, nice one, mate. Daz, nice one. Nice one. Nice one, Daz. Get it. Ring up. Come on, get involved. Ring. Get involved. I've just seen McGregor say. Big McGregor. Connor or Andy? I've just seen McGregor say. Funnily, Carlo was wrong for Everton, but it's done and dusted now. Lessons yet to be learned. No, you're right. You're right, Andy, and you said at the time as well, mate. Carlo was like a stick and plaster, wasn't he? And while he was there, Everton could have been sorting themselves out. Yeah, in the background. But they didn't, because they didn't think there was a problem. Oh, but they still don't think there's a problem. No, they don't. They still don't. They'll still come out today and tell us flat to our face that everything's all right and there's no issues. Hello, Jim. No, they still don't think there's a problem. So Jim being on. If Jim White's watching, phone up, Jim.
Ned,
We'll have a chat.
Ned, if you need to go to the toilet, you're going to have to crawl on the floor.
Lampard is on,
Why are we
is on
getting
the line.
Lampard's not coming on, is he?
Lampard's on the line. Turns out that
you don't have to crawl, just run
Michael
past the camera
Caine
quick.
is on the line.
Just run past the...
Oh, the continuity. He's walked past the camera.
It's not professional, is it? It's not professional
Literally,
at all.
Can you imagine a Marvel bloody cameraman done that while he were filming the Avengers? I'll just
go
run past.
then if you're going.
Go the toilet.
Oh my God. Sorry for that. Sorry that everyone had to see that. Honest to God, I'm sorry everyone had to see that. Do us a favour, if you're on Patreon, let's get you on. If you've got something to say in the comments, let's hear you say it on here.
On Big Patreon.
On here. And I'm talking to you, McGregor. Come on with just put a fake voice on, go all Jerry Adams. Go, hello lads. Call yourself Smitty and come on with the fake accent. Get like the thing on. Oh no.
What Bane?
Sydney.
I haven't got a clue what's going on here.
Everton play in the dark.
Do a Yoda one.
Everton play in the dark, but you
mess this is.
In a mess this club
Not
is.
heads at the top, we seem.
Fired on television talking about... That was Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear. Hey, Truman, let's make a funny joke. Yeah. What about Ellis Sims going to Hearts? What are your thoughts on that? Maybe Dobbin signing a new contract as well?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
They've been in and around. Certainly Ellis Sims has been fit and around the first team in some capacity for the last couple of months or so, and he hasn't had much of a of a chance.
Here he is.
Oh. Okay.
Pitch invader.
Okay. He hasn't had much of a chance, so I think again for his personal development, he's 19, 20 now. He's got to be playing games of football, and when you're at that age, the under-23s league is just simply unsuitable. So if you're not getting an Everton side, and I don't necessarily mean that by starting games, but if you're not being involved, getting game time, coming off the bench, then you need to go out. And when you look at Ellis Sims, ultimately you've got Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Rondon, and probably Lewis Dobbin. He's the fifth choice striker. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, when they're fit, are much, higher picks than the other two. So, I think it's probably the best decision. Interestingly enough, I don't really know if he's got a future at the football club at this point.
I
would edge to say he isn't.
I don't think he's good enough, Ellis Sims. But it'd be interesting to see if Dobbin does sign a contract because
scored a good goal over there.
Yeah, with everything going on and that. So, but we'll find out. Ellis Sims has gone to Hearts. Obviously, Benny Beningme's been doing all right up there as well. Obviously, Benny Beningme is obviously playing there full time. So it'll be interesting. But it's good that he's gone on loan because he shouldn't be sitting around at Everton. He should be playing football. Yeah. He's signed a new 3-year contract. Obviously, so he's got 2.5 years left on that. So it's a case now of seeing what he can do. So good luck to him. Hopefully, he has a good rest of the season. And Dobbin, as you said, Dobbin it'll be interesting to see what happens with Dobbin, whether he does sign the new contract, but then it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we'll wait and see at the end of the season to see what kind of position we're in and where his future lies.
Yeah. Again, might have, we're due a new manager now, so it might be dependent on what happens with that and the opportunities that he will or won't get under the new manager. But somebody like Frank Lampard, he's been known to promote youth and give youth a chance, so he might feel like he's got more of a chance. If it's somebody like Vito Pereira, then he might just call Sky and have a conversation with Sky instead, because
McGregor, you're a letdown, lad. You're a letdown, McGregor.
Can't he put an accent on?
He can't put an accent on.
Ned,
have we got anyone coming on?
Yeah, I'm not sure who it is though.
We'll find out who it is then.
Great.
Ask them. Say hello.
Is it Frank?
Paul's there, but he's not responding to me.
Oh, I can hear someone.
Go on.
Hello,
is that
mate.
Paul? Go on, Paul. It's all right, mate.
It's going to be just someone really out of left field who we've maybe not been linked with. And that this is all just kind of a weird sort of smokescreen that the club's letting kind of be out there just so whoever they really are negotiating with doesn't leak out.
Paul, who are you thinking of, mate? Come on, give me a name. I know you've got a name in your head.
I'm thinking of a few. Now, don't go berserk.
Roberto.
No, not him.
Okay.
Stranger things have happened. Someone who probably Everton fans hate more than him, and I wouldn't be the least bit shocked if this happens, because he did kind of put his head above the parapet the other week, saying he'd be willing to help us out.
I know.
Do you think there's a chance Allardyce comes back?
Allardyce?
Now I know as much as that turned your stomach. He was on the radio the other week.
He was, yeah,
saying that he'd be willing to kind of help us out if we kind of. He was basically saying, "Come and ring me if you want me." Type
But
thing.
do you think he can? Do you think Allardyce can hold his own water enough to have not said something in the last few days?
If there's enough money in it for. If there's enough money in it for.
No, I know,
mate.
but he doesn't strike me as the kind of if he was chocolate, he'd eat himself, and there's that much of him that he'd be there for days. But he strikes me as a fella that can't hold his own water. I remember last time he was never off the telly the couple of weeks before, going, if they need me, and you might be like, listen.
He has done that once. He's done it once the other week. I think he was on
Talksport. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He did say literally the words you just said. If they need me, they can give me a call. Now he was saying it in the sense when they were asking him what was his thoughts about Rooney getting linked with the job, and he said, "If Everton want my advice or anything, they just need to ring me, and I'd be more than happy to go back and help them." Which is basically, if you want me to come back and do the job, then ring me up.
Would you have him, Paul?
It's the end of the season, yeah.
I would as well. Yeah, I would as well. I'm in the exact same. Wouldn't be nice, but I would have more confidence with Allardyce coming in than anybody else on that list, and that includes Frank Lampard. Not for the future, not for the long-term plan, but to keep us in the Premier League, which is ultimately
basically what you're suggesting is that Lampard would be our Moyes at West Ham. Come back and be like, see, I told you, you shouldn't have sacked me, and suddenly he's the main guy.
Apparently Lampard wants a job in the summer now because he wants a full pre-season.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if we are looking just for an interim, whether it's going to be, Allardyce, whether it's just going to be Dunk, or someone else like another ex-player, and then the idea is to maybe get Lampard or someone of Lampard's mould for the summer and get that all boxed off now, because it's what we did with Silva. We all knew Silva was coming in 3-4 months before he did. We just, as soon as he got the sack from Watford, we were on the phone to him saying, yeah, just hang fire for a few months and we'll sack Allardyce the day after the season ends, which is, I think, what we did. And then Silva was in was it June?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll be doing again. Yeah. I think we'll look for someone like an interim. We've obviously interviewed people. We've had Lampard in the room with us, and we've had Pereira. I know he's shot his own brains out, hasn't he, tonight with any chance of getting the job. But I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to get an interim for 6 months, someone we're absolutely sure will keep us up. And what safer bet is there than Allardyce, much as horrible as it is to think of. And then we're just going to go for a Lampard or maybe whoever it is in the summer, whether they're going to try for a Graham Potter or someone else who impresses them, who they think they could get. I don't think whoever's going to be the manager long term is going to come in now. I think it is going to be an interim.
Yeah. No, they definitely, I think that's what they want. I think that's exactly what they want. They want someone to be in it. I think I don't know whether they'd probably want Lampard to be the interim, but Lampard's probably saying, well, no, I want 18 months. But no, I think you're right. I think it's Allardyce just doesn't. He seems to have been very quiet overall. Almost like he's retired. Obviously, he went down with West Brom, didn't he? So,
is there any other name, Paul, other than Allardyce that you may think of, just under interest?
Not for an interim. I am a fan of that Niko Kovac, and he's been linked with us as well.
Yeah.
Just it's been done a lot more quietly. I hope that we have at least sat down with him and we've kind of felt him out a little bit, and we see what he's got to offer. There's other names out of work, isn't there? I mean, I don't think he would fit us, but he fits that mould of Hollywood manager.
Yeah.
The former Barca manager, Valverde.
Yeah.
He's knocking about, and I've seen interviews with him over the last few months where he says he wants to get back into work, and the Premier League's something he's looking at.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of managers around. It's just you've got to take a chance on one of them. Nuno's obviously not working anywhere, and I do think Nuno is better than what he showed at Tottenham. I think it's what he did at Wolves was very, very impressive, especially. And it wasn't even a disaster that final season where they weren't as good. They lost the main striker. If we played all season with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and we were nowhere near relegation, you'd consider that an achievement, wouldn't you? We lost Calvert-Lewin all season. We'd be down without a prayer.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why they haven't gone for Lucien Favre.
Favre as well, yeah, I was going to say that.
I can't understand.
He's putting his hand up now and he wants to get... I mean, I think the only reason he didn't go to Palace in the summer was because they weren't willing to basically give him a long-term contract, which is what he wants, because of his age and things like that. So Favre, I don't know much about him, but I'm not convinced it's down to Pereira and Lampard, or maybe Ferguson till the summer. I think there's other names out there that the media haven't got hold of, who we are talking to, and it's probably going to be one of them.
I think the Rooney one's interesting, isn't it? Because it would make, again, I'm not saying the appointment in itself would make so much sense, albeit I'd have him over some of the other names, but the fact that all we're hearing at the moment is no Rooney contact is, for me, a little bit strange. I would have thought Wayne Rooney would be one of the first names because of his connection with the club and how well he's doing at Derby and the relationship that the owner may have with the chairman.
I think, though, the thing about Rooney is, like Paul just said there, Everton probably want it to the end of the season. Rooney probably doesn't want it. Probably wouldn't want it till the summer. He's got a job to do at Derby, and then what position does it leave him in if it all went wrong at Everton?
Yeah.
So for Rooney will probably thinking this job will come up again
in the next 12 months.
Very soon. So why
in the summer?
I don't know. I worry about Rooney. Even if Rooney wasn't in the situation he's in and he was a lot more experienced, we saw what happened when he came back as a player. There's always that gamble, Rooney, that something's going to happen off the pitch that's going to create headlines with him. And the club just can't have that. I really do worry. I think he's got his head down in Derby now and he's happy to just kind of be out of the spotlight a little bit. But if he comes back to Everton in Merseyside in the Goldfish Bowl, I just think there's going to be temptations there, isn't there? I think that's something you really do have to consider when you talk about Rooney being the Everton manager one day.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I also think the pressure thing with Rooney's interesting as well, because in a strange sort of sense, I don't actually think there's much pressure on him at Derby. Given the situation that they're in, the expectation at the start of the season was, well, we've been docked 21 points and we've got about 3 first-team players, so whatever we get out of this season will be a plus. And week by week, he's doing better and better and better under an expectation that is, I think, every game they'll go into thinking that they're going to lose, and then when they're winning games and big games, it's sort of like, look at how much of an amazing job he's doing. Exactly. So although it seems like there may be a lot of pressure at Derby, I actually don't think there is, because of the situation he's been put in and the job that he's doing there. But if he comes to Everton in this situation, there's all the pressure. The pressure is that we stay up in the Premier League, we get those important wins, the players turn up and perform, the manager's got the tactical nous to be able to deal with these players, and that is an awful lot more pressure than, even though it seems silly because Derby are in a worse situation than Everton, which is pretty difficult to be in at the moment. I think there's more pressure with Everton.
Most managers as well probably look at it and think, if I'm going to take on that hassle, I need a cast iron contract.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Because everyone knows now that it's a mess.
Except Vito, who just claims
Vito's loving it, though, isn't he? He's loving it.
Yeah.
About him, I'm convinced he was put up to that,
Yeah, 100%.
I really don't think him and his agents have just sat there today and after dinner decided, let's ring up Sky and give an interview and put myself across to the fans. I think someone, whether it's Nashiri, whether it's that Kia, whatever he's called, whether it's someone else who he spoke to, they've basically said to him, look, we'd have you. We like what you're saying, but look at the reaction from the fans.
Exactly.
You need to put yourself out there publicly and sell yourself to the fans a bit. And if it cools the situation, then you can have the job. And he's just gone and trotted out a load of crap.
Yeah.
He named Jagielka and Baines and
twice,
saying all this other things like, it's aggressive football, aggressive. It's like, my sister could tell you that about Everton, and she doesn't watch football at all. He's literally just read some lines off a paper.
Yeah. Which it's mad, isn't it? Because I think they'll have thought, and they being his camp, whether that be him, Kia, or Farhad or whoever else, they'll have thought this will be great. You'll go out, the fans will go, he's boss. He's mentioned Jagielka and Coleman a couple of times. This is great, and it's actually had the adverse effect. Everyone's sitting here going, "What's he doing? He's embarrassing himself."
It would work in a lot of clubs, but just not Everton fans, because we're that fed up and we're that moody at the best of times that we just can't be having this. Like, any excuse to get mad, we'll get mad. So
true, mate. True.
Nice one, Paul. Nice one for jumping on, mate. Thanks very much, mate.
See you later, mate.
Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Any more, Ned?
Yeah, we've got Chris. I'm going to get him on now.
Okay. We'll make Chris our last one.
I'm going to run for a wee.
Go on, then. We'll make Chris our last one. In your own time, Ned. Chris, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm the usual delightful Evertonian everyone else is at the moment. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, miserable, Go on, what's your point?
It was weird. The weird thing is when we first got linked with Pereira, I was like kind of willing to give him some benefit of doubt towards like some of his history, because like obviously he did win the title with Porto.
He did, yeah.
I read on, obviously Reddit's probably not always the best source, but I've seen some Fenerbahce fans saying like willing to stand up for him because they felt like they had bad ownership, which led to like a lot of his downfall there. They thought the actual the style of playing thing was really good. And what was the name of the team he got relegated with in Germany?
1860.
Oh, okay. Because from what I understand, apparently they were doomed for like relegation anyway, so it kind of ended up as like a black mark on his CV.
Yeah, the points he actually got, the points he got in Germany would be enough to keep us up. Basically, I think he got 21 points out of half a season, so it would be enough to keep us safe if he got, if he did come in and get that points tally.
Yeah, the weird thing is, like if he was like ended up the manager, I think obviously because he was linked with Kia, it had like this big massive negative thing linked with it, so that's why a lot of people just didn't want him, which you can sort of understand because obviously Kia's not exactly done great for us as a club recently. The thing is like because he's done that interview now with Sky, it changes everyone's perception of him now in like a really negative way. And it's also like shined a massive spotlight on the club as well and the farce that's like going on.
Yeah.
So he's not only done himself no favors, in my opinion, he's also like not really done Everton any favors either. It's made everyone just go, what is going on with that football club? Yeah. If people weren't already doing it before, which is just like, dude, don't do that.
yeah, you're spot on. As I said, mate, it was almost seemed like a bright idea, but it's actually had the complete adverse effect. Everyone sort of sat down and gone, what is going on here? This is like, when is a managerial candidate of any other football club come out and thought, I'm going to do an interview on Sky and tell them why that was the type of interview you listen to it all, and it almost made me feel like, has he been given the job? Because it was like something you'd hear from a manager doing his first interview at the club. Yeah, the same sort of stuff.
It reminded me of a guy just being sacked.
Yeah,
and he was coming on to explain what had happened and sort of like sacked. Put his side across to it. He didn't. You don't normally have a guy trying to plead this case to a fan base. So it was very, very strange. I get he was trying to sell himself and put himself across, and I'm sure that's why he was probably told it would be a good idea. But ultimately, it just, I think for our fan base, it's just come across really needy and a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah. The weird thing is, this actually happened on TalkSport recently. There was a guy who tried to put in a bid for West Ham, and it fell through. And he was sat with Simon Jordan, and he was trying to basically sell himself as to why he was going to put in a bid for West Ham United. And I think Jim just asked him, like, so what are the details? And he said, I can't give any details. And you could just see like Simon Jordan laughing in the background. And he just said to him, look, when you bring something like this into the public domain, these deals just don't happen. They just don't. And because he's done that, like, if he does end up the Everton manager now, I'd be either surprised or even more annoyed at our owners than I already am. Yeah. Currently.
Imagine they'd decided and they'd given him the contact and it was official and they'd said, we'll throw you out because this will be great. The fans will go, oh yeah, we're behind you, and then we'll announce you at 6 o'clock. And they've sent him out, see what's going on, and went, what do we do now? What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Put a fake moustache on him and give him a different name.
The thing is, the fans are annoyed. It needs someone who kind of weirdly fits all like the right boxes for us at the moment. Like initially, when we were looking for a manager, I would have said I don't think I would have wanted Frank Lampard's, but as time's kind of gone on, the more I've kind of sat and thought about it, in some ways he could actually be the right guy in my opinion. The reason being is like with Dunk, obviously my heart says I want Duncan Ferguson. Of course I do. He's an Evertonian. I want an Evertonian as my manager. Yeah. We have to, because obviously I know. Ped, you can't tell us what he's told you tactically, how he would want to build the team. That's fair enough. Of course, you can't. We'd have to see how that would develop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Into the Interim. Yeah. With Wayne, yes, he's had like a really good couple of months, but it's in a different league. And the other thing as well is like, because I live in Nottingham and I used to go to university at Derby. I've got friends who are Derby County fans. He's like, for Derby fans, he's like a big, massive talisman of hope for them. And so just almost like for a slightly personal reasons, I want to see him finish out his project, try and keep them up. And like, just so that the fans can have that. With Frank, yes, he's a Tory, which I don't think...
It's not going to go down well, mate. It's not going to go down well.
The thing is, though, like you're right, it is a valid point to not want a manager, because it's like Liverpool as a city and where the club is based, it's a fairly liberal, left-leaning city. So having a Tory as a manager is a bit, yeah. But at the same time, what he did at Chelsea, the way he galvanized the club and got all the fans back on side, and like understanding what Chelsea are again, and then getting really excited about it. That is something we're in desperate need of. We want to see our youth academy like expanded, and we want to see these players come through in the same way that Anthony Gordon has. We want to see guys like Lewis Dobbin come through, and it's if he's able to do things like that, and then also add into that tactical analysis he's probably learned from the various managers he's worked with over the years. Like obviously we've seen him play 4-3-3, for example, like quite a lot. That was the formation he used most, all the 4-2-3-1. That idea, and the idea of having like a fresh set of ideas in the club, it actually means he does tick a lot of boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's all about getting fresh ideas. There's obviously reports going around that Tim Cahill could have a role at the club as well. So getting young, fresh ideas into the club is absolutely imperative, especially when the chairman is, a man in his mid-70s who, still harks back to the days of the boys' pen and all this kind of nonsense, which none of the young fan base can identify with. Most young people wouldn't have a clue what a boys' pen was. They wouldn't have a clue what he's talking about when he talks about the football club. They can't identify with that. This is the FIFA generation. They identify with globalization, huge football clubs from all around the world, walking down the street wearing a bleeding PSG top and it not meaning anything because it's a fashion thing or whatever. This is what young fans, and they need people who understand that, and Everton need that energy within the club, and it's not there. And you absolutely are right. Someone like Frank Lampard, Tim Cahill, Wayne Rooney, I think they're on top of that because they've been part of that generation who introduced those things into this generation's lexicon. So we definitely need young, fresh ideas in the football club. It's just whether we get them in, and it's just whether they are accepted and allowed to soak into the club.
Yeah. The other thing as well is if you got someone like Frank Lampard in, you'd have like almost like a good mix there of people from two different like worlds of thought, because you've got if you get like Tim Cahill in, and then from that side of things you've got Duncan Ferguson, you've got Leighton Baines, you've got Tim Cahill, you've got people who understand our club. If you also bring in then who Frank Lampard knows, guys who have been at the very top, we're talking guys who've like won Champions Leagues before. You've got like the perfect mix right there in terms of what should hopefully guide our club forward. And you're right in terms of like the relationship we have with the club. Like I can only listen to stories about how we won the league in 84, 85 or what have you. And it's like, it's almost like I'm kind of sick of hearing about history. I'm only interested in what Everton are now and what they are going forwards. So it's almost like that's what I want us to focus on.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm sick of like I use this as a bar. Like when Howard's Way came out, I used that as almost like the mark of where we have to stop talking about our glorious past. Do you know what I mean? It was like that encapsulated what happened in the 80s brilliantly. And that was like the pinnacle. It has to stop now. We can't live in the past anymore. We've criticised other clubs like Newcastle for doing that. We have to start focusing on the future. And we're our biggest worst enemies, because we laugh at like Kenwright and Good Times and all this kind of thing. We laugh at other clubs. We've laughed at Liverpool for doing it. And yet we do it ourselves. I've seen people say, I went to this venue and so was there and he was talking about the great days. And it's like, I'm not asked anymore. I've heard all the stories to the point where I'm bored of them. I know, and these fellas, don't get me wrong, these fellas are amazing and I love them all to bits, everyone I've met. But we have to start focusing on what's going on now. And we've lived in the past for so long. And that's, for me, is where Bill Kenwright's got away with it for so long.
Yeah.
Is that idea of living in the past, of what Everton used to be. It makes me laugh when people say Chelsea don't have history. They do have history because they've won 2 European Cups in the last 10 years. Yeah. That's history.
Yeah. That's history.
Absolutely. We've got this.
They're making it.
They're making it in real time. Yeah. We've got a campaign at the moment. 27. They're all meeting at 7:00 at the Dexy statue. If people want to get down there, if there's enough time, but the point being is that you 27 years since we won a trophy, and a trophy that actually the club are slightly embarrassed by because it was the last trophy. You know, Everton loved him at 85, but they very rarely to 87 or 95 because they're the last time we won the FA Cup in the league. There is an embarrassment attached because those trophies were the last time we won those trophies. We have to start living in the present, and that means having people on the board and in the manager who are about now. And when it's about Bill Kenwright, I'm not criticising the man as a human being. I'm saying, if we looked at another football club and there was a guy running it who was in their mid-70s, we'd look and say, you are out of touch. You do not understand football right now. You know, when you're talking about a generation of people that pick their football teams by who's the best team on FIFA, and then go out and buy the footy kits, and the sponsors work the same way. There's a reason why Nike wanted Liverpool, because they were on the front of EA, on the front of FIFA. Yeah. Like, that's the biggest advertising profile in the world, and yet we live in a world where we can't even sell across to the world a player like James Rodriguez, who's got millions and millions and millions of followers on social media, and we can't grab hold of that because we don't have people at the football club who understand that's the currency right now. I go on FIFA and I play as Everton, and every single person is playing as PSG and it's destroying me as Mbappe and Messi, and I'm like, no, I'm my own worst enemy. I need to start playing as PSG
or Man City
or Bayern Munich, and because that's the world we live in now, and we need people at the club who understand that culture. And I'm sad to say we don't have those people at our club right now running the club, or even, you know, as the manager.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Completely agree.
Nice one for coming on anyway.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers. Speak
mate.
to you soon.
Speak to you after that.
Cheers.
Right, that's us. 7 o'clock. There's something going on at Goodison Park. There's loads of banners and all kinds already set up there. So if you're going to get down there pretty quick. It's been good. We're going to try and do this every week. We're going to try and do it every Monday on Patreon. It's a little bit more difficult because Ned just doesn't come in lazy like that. So thanks for joining us. If you want to jump on the phone in, join Patreon. That's how you can become on the calling. So thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock to do the Daily Live Extra, and then we'll be on at Patreon at 5 o'clock. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.